What's up, guys? It's me, Kareem Jovian, and I'm here with Shay. And today is a very important day. It's 9/11. And for many years, I wanted to tell my story about 9/11. I've been interviewing New Yorkers forever, asking them about their stories. So I decided I wanted to finally tell my story. And what better way to tell my story than with my friend here, Shay, who is also with me at school during that time when we both witnessed the towers falling. We witnessed the whole situation, everything. So we're going to talk about it kind of, just in remembrance and give our experience of the whole situation. And hopefully it can help some people who may want to tell their story in the future. So, Shay, if you want to just introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Shay. Handle Shayway Vlogs. Can follow me on all socials. But yeah, it's been interesting how this day kind of made me reach out to Kareem. It wasn't because of this actually. It was just to ask about some things with social media because he's so good at it. You know, he's been doing it for a while. So and then it kind of like we talked for a while, basically caught up. You know, we went to high school together in out in New York City, Queens, and we've experienced 9/11 together. And now when we look
Yeah,
back, I wasn't sure if he was in my class, but then now that we talked about it, he started dropping some quotes, and I was
I
like, oh yeah,
remember it very
yeah,
well. Yeah, I
yeah,
remember it very well. We were in class together, man. I'll never forget that day.
yeah,
Um, Yeah, it was like this was a spur of the moment thing. I always wanted to tell my story. I always wanted to talk about it because the things I've seen were crazy. So I guess I'll start it off.
yeah,
I remember the day like it was yesterday. I was walking up the stair going to class. It was like what the second or third day of high school. We
yeah,
just started. And as I was going up the stairs in the hallway, you know how they had the windows and you could see Manhattan in the city.
yeah,
I
yeah,
saw one of the buildings was on fire, smoking,
right.
and I saw one kid crying as he was looking out the window, and another friend was consoling him. I was like,
Oh
"What's
wow,
going on? This is crazy." So I went up the second flight, and as I was going up the second flight, like going to class, I would go out to the hallway and go in. And by that time, on the second flight up, the tower was already gone. Because
okay,
at first I thought it was like an accidental small plane or something that of that sort. I didn't think much of it. But when I saw one of the buildings gone,
yeah,
I was like, "Whoa, there's something big happening right now." So I went into class. I finally like the five because I think science class we're like
yeah,
up in the fifth or sixth floor,
fifth floor, yeah.
um, fifth floor, and then I went inside to class, and I saw all of you guys, even you included. You were all like glued to the window,
Yeah.
looking outside, and it was pretty crazy as everybody was looking, right? I remember all of us were like, "Whoa, what's going on? What's happening?" And I remember some kids, some of the students were like, "Oh, this is so cool!" Like, what like it was like surreal, and obviously they didn't think this is. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, we were kids at that time, and we were
Yeah.
babies.
I don't mean to cut you off, but when you're talking, dude, I don't have my memory is like good, but you're dropping. It's replicating. Like I could imagine it again. It's like how my brain is suddenly working, and I'm remembering my older steps. Like when you mentioned the staircase stuff, a staircase scene popped up in my head, and I remember kids walking up the stairs. Like I haven't
Yep,
thought about this for 20 plus years. It's crazy
I
how
know,
memory.
I know, it's crazy, it's crazy.
But yeah, about the towers part when you mentioned because you saw the first one the hitting it or no
No,
because
I
I
didn't see I
remember
didn't see
hearing a
anything
noise.
hit the buildings. Yeah, I didn't see anything hit the buildings. I just saw them on smoke and on fire. By the time I got to class, the
Right.
second one was already flamed and people were like I remember the kids screaming like we are just sitting there. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it was Miss
It,
Neron. She
dude,
was our teacher, or maybe I know she was there, Miss Neron. She
right.
walked in,
I remember
or
Mr.
maybe
Bryant. I don't
okay,
know
so
why.
maybe it was Mr. So I think this is what happened. I think Mr. Bryan was our teacher because I remember him,
Yeah.
but I remember for a fact Miss Neron was there. So I think she walked in our room because there was screaming in our room
Yeah.
when that big like engulfed
Yeah.
flame for the
Yeah.
second building happened, and everybody screamed, and I was like, oh shit! And then like
Yeah.
that was what got us looking. And
Right.
tell me like what do you remember what you saw like when
So
you were looking out the window?
yeah, so what's interesting is that we had an unobstructed view of downtown Manhattan from
Yep.
our classroom. by the piers, like where if you're in New York City, Queens piers, like where we're like right behind the
Yeah.
piers, basically, you know. So we had unobstructed view of the World Trade Center. We literally watched it every day, and this was our third day in class. And I remember on the first day, I was like, "Oh wow, that's a view." I know people paid tons of
Right.
money. People paid thousands of
Yeah.
dollars for that view. We have it for
Yeah.
free in class, you know.
Yeah. It was a nice view.
Yeah, and then next thing you know, 3 days later, you know, that happened. But I do remember this. So when I don't know if anybody remembers when you're entering ninth grade in the year 2001, before iPhones, before social media, I think MySpace was just being around, was just being formed. I don't think MySpace wasn't even there at that point because
Mm.
this was before Facebook. I'm pretty sure Facebook wasn't.
It was, yeah, it was definitely before Facebook. I
Yeah.
do remember MySpace. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was social media wasn't that existent, and nobody really had, you know, iPhones and news and then like good kind of connectivity with the world to find out what's going on up to date. Like right now, we'll get a breaking news alert. Everyone's up to date. Everyone knows what's up. But during that time, when you mentioned like that kid saying, "Oh my God, like what is this? It's cool." That's because it was so unfathomable and crazy. We thought it was maybe part of a movie shoot. You know what I
Right.
mean? Maybe they're shooting Mission
Exactly.
Impossible with Tom Cruise, you know, doing one of those crazy scenes, and
That's exactly what we. Yeah, we thought it
it's
was
like
like a
yeah,
movie.
it's like explosion. But then when I like after this, I remember watching after the I didn't watch it fully go in, but I remember watching one of the towers actually come down, and when I saw that, I was like, I know I didn't just witness thousands, God forbid how many people just vanish, perish right in
Mhm.
front of me. And that's when I turned cold, like, dude, this is not a freaking movie. This is
Right.
not, this is real life, and what is going on. And from there, what I found was interesting is that, look, we're all shy, right? When you enter there, so there was a little bit of shyness, but that moment it brought a lot of closeness amongst classmates in class. I remember like we all kind of consoled each other. We weren't shy as much, you know, because we were watching something horrific, you know, trying to contact our parents, and none of our cell phones were working. I remember I didn't even have a cell
I
phone.
didn't have a
How
cell
about you?
phone.
So yeah,
Nope, my
so
parents didn't give me a cell phone at that time. No.
yeah. So some kids did have a cell phone. I tried calling, it didn't go through. It was busy or something. And then also, I remember like we all had to like walk home. You know what I mean? Trains were done
Yeah,
because
but before we get to the part where we have to walk home, like I'll tell you what I saw from the
yeah,
window. I remember when they were screaming, "Oh, it's so cool!" I remember seeing Miss Neron look at them and going like, "That's cool, really, guys?" And then they were like, "Oh, we don't mean it like that. We don't mean it like that." Because I'm pretty sure they probably imagined it was like a movie or some special effects because it didn't look real,
right,
bro. We were all glued to the window. They couldn't stop us. The teachers were
right,
trying to stop us. I know Mr. Bryant was our teacher, but Miss Neon was there. She was the vice principal, like the head of the science department, right? But she was there, and I think they were trying to like pull the blinds on the windows, but they couldn't do it. I wish I had a camera because that moment there was freaking crazy to capture the insanity of the students and just looking at the window. And then finally, because the first one was already like fallen by the time we were looking at it, the second one came down. And I was looking, I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like this building, like when I saw the first one gone, I was like, yo, this Twin Towers is gone. It's just one tower now. New York is gonna have one tower now for the rest of like what's going on. And then as I was thinking that, the second one started coming down like a mushroom cloud and just coming down, and I was like, I was in shock. I was like, whoa! Like as a
yeah,
kid, we're just kids. We don't fathom what's going on, like you said. But in that moment, I told myself, I just witnessed, and it's as sad as it sounds,
yeah,
a lot of people just pass away and perish.
yeah,
Holy crap, like this is some serious shiz, like I don't want to curse,
yeah.
but this is some serious stuff going on. And then from there I knew our world was not going to be the same, man. And it was pretty bad. So after that they took us down to the auditorium. I don't know if you remember that, bro. I remember
Man,
everything
slowly
like
starting to click,
yesterday.
man. Thank you. This is
Yeah.
I remember a vivid scene.
Yep,
You
they
got
took
better
us to
memory.
the they took us to the auditorium. They all sat us there, and then at the time I forgot her name. The principal, she was a female. I forgot her name, but she was
Miss
sweet.
Danapass?
Maybe I just
Maybe.
I don't know, but it was a female. I remember her standing on stage, and she's like, "Guys, right now there's some serious things happening in the city. We want you to feel safe. Nothing is bad is gonna happen to you guys. Everything is all right. We're gonna let you all go home, but just to let you know, if you know there's no one home to pick you up or you can't go home, no worries. Your home is here. You can stay. We'll be with you until someone can pick you up. And it felt comforting. Like, wow, like she's acting like a mother, you know, like
Yeah.
you guys have a home here to stay with us. We'll be together until someone picks you up or until the situation is solved. So if you can go home and you have your way home, you can go. If you want to stay, you can stay. I decided to go home, bro.
Yeah, me
And
too.
and as I was walking down the street, now you tell me also if you experienced this. Do you remember? Because I could just walk down the sidewalk and go straight home by walking. I saw a sea of people from Manhattan running into Queens. A sea of people, bro. I'm telling you, the highway was filled with people. I remember a skateboarder. He was holding on to one of the cars with his skateboard. And so the taxi was pulling him in. Everybody was working together, bro, to just get out of Manhattan. And it was pretty smoky, even though like we were in Queens, you could still kind of see the smoke. What did you see? Because from
Yeah,
there, you know, I was just heading home.
I definitely remember seeing a lot of people and definitely a little bit smoky and cloudy the air. Even like that type of debris even made it to Queens a little bit because remember we're right in the border, the edge of uh of the little island, you know, of the what do you call it in Queens, the piers. You know what I mean? So we're like very close to Manhattan, but like a river away. We're in the other side of the river, if, you know, from the tower. So then we definitely saw that. But then I remember when I was walking home, definitely a ton of people because if you know, we're right next to the Queensboro Bridge, and that's the bridge that connects Midtown Manhattan to Queens. So a
Mhm.
lot of people, you know, they had to leave downtown Manhattan. They wanted to go up, you know, get away. And when you go up, you're gonna literally hit Midtown, which is the Queensboro Bridge, and people just wanted to get off the island. We didn't know what was going on. People wanted to get off Manhattan. So they got on the bridge, and when you walk into Queens, you're based on where our school was, aviation. That's where you know the congestion started happening because it kind of like
Yeah.
just. So yeah, I definitely remember the people, but walking home and yeah, I was usually always taking the train, like you know, to go home. And this is the first time, the third day of school, I'm walking home. You know, I wasn't
Mhm.
even sure how to even get home. To be
Yeah,
very
man.
frank, you know, because we didn't. There's no GPS. There's no iPhones, and everybody's like in a panic. You know what I mean? At
Yep.
that time, and you're forced to walk home. But obviously, I made it. But yeah, that's what I primarily remembered. Good. Thank you for reminding me of the auditorium part. And she said
Yeah,
something
there's
along the
yeah.
line. Saying, I
For
do
me, that
remember
day
that.
was, bro, I don't know what it is about that day. I don't know why. I mean, obviously, you're, you know, we're both, you know, we have Muslim background. We grew up with Muslim family, so it's like
Yeah,
that day was very, very like
right.
very intense for us because it changed our world too. You know, like not only like was it traumatizing to see, but it changed our. Actually, I wanted to add when I was going up the stairs and remember that kid that was crying and his friend was consoling him.
Right.
I forgot to mention that kid was yelling back at him, and he's like, "My father's in there," and he's like, "I'm sorry,
Oh,
sorry." Like, and he was like, you know, like,
that's
and I was
wild.
like, "Oh shit!" Like this kid probably just lost his dad, you know, and that's why he's crying, and his friend is like trying to console him. Bro, it was wild, man. It was wild, and I remember when I finally walked home after seeing the sea of people. It was like the end of the world, bro. As a kid, anxiety was on high and everything like that. So I went home and I remember seeing my uncle and my dad. May they both rest in peace. Allah yarhamhum. It was like
Right.
it was surreal, you know, because I never see my uncle and my dad when I come home from school because they're usually both working.
Right.
So I saw my uncle there with the remote, you know, looking at the TV. He was glued to it, and then my father, they were both like really like petrified. They were scared, and they were like saddened and upset. And then as soon as my dad noticed that I was coming in, he threw a smile on his face. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, ah, Kareem, you know, like how you doing, man? Because he's trying to let me feel like, you know, he doesn't want me to feel scared or worried about whatever's going on. He's just trying to make light of it so I don't get because he knows this is pretty traumatizing. This is
Interesting.
huge.
Interesting
And I
parent.
remember,
We have the. I mean, we have. The, I had a total opposite. I remind because I this. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm gonna forget. But
no, it's okay. You can interrupt. Yeah,
remind me to explain how my dad treated the situation based because it
sure.
was
No, right after.
night and day.
Yeah, I want to hear it. I want to hear how your dad
Yeah.
treated the situation. So after that, my dad was like, "They're gonna say terrorists did that," you know. And it was interesting that he said it that way. He didn't say terrorists did that or it's those damn terrorists again. He said they're gonna say terrorists did that, and you know it's gonna be tough, Kareem. It's gonna be tough, and you know, so it's like it was that's all I remember. And then after that, I was like, we had no school the next day. So I remember they still told me I have to do my homework. So I was still doing my homework, even though there's no school next day. But it was the first time I had my whole family with me in my apartment. So how did your father
So yeah,
go about
so
it?
as soon as I got home, he definitely was like, you're okay, all that. He was happy, but he my father always treated me like, never babied me or kidded me. You know what I mean? Like, hey, it's
Yeah,
gonna be okay. He was so always opposite. You know what I mean? Like thick skin, very direct, straight, directly. There's no BSing. He told me like, dude, this is crazy. Like, did you see what you know what I mean? Not like
yeah,
it's gonna be okay. Any type of vibe. He was like, this is nuts. This is insane. Watch the news. Sit down. We're gonna watch it together. We're gonna learn about this. We're gonna find out what the hell happened. Like
yeah, yeah.
it was that my dad's always been like that. So interesting when you said that he was more comforting and nice, and that's I wish I had that, to be honest. That's a whole different
No, my
story.
dad, he was strict. He was very strict and never talked much, but he had those moments where he just didn't want me to see him, I guess, maybe scared or
Right.
anything like that. And in turn, it'll calm me down to make me think like everything's all right.
Yeah, total opposite. My dad would
Yeah.
tell me directly, like, this is what's happening. You should be scared. Just pay attention. Wake the f up. Like, just like very very adultish. Like,
That's my mom, actually. My mom is like that. So it's
my,
like
and
a balance.
and my mom is the nicer, calmer
Yeah.
one. But, whatever. But yeah, that's how we treated the situation. But I think, yeah, you said school was closed the next day. Yeah, and
Yep.
then what's interesting is that at that point I had the vocabulary of the word terrorist never even crossed my mind, or
Yeah.
it wasn't
Yes.
even anywhere. I literally didn't know what it was. I swear to
Yep.
God, like they kept
Yeah.
saying it so many times, and then we associated with those people, basically, those type of people. But before that, I didn't even know what it was. Yes, we had the Oklahoma City stuff with Timothy McVeigh. That's a whole different thing. I think that was before we were like, I think this was 92. We were like little kids. I don't even remember that, but it was a big pause, and then 9/11 happened, and then the T word, we'll just say, just
Yeah.
kept being dropped down left and right, and I'm like, what is this? And then now 23 years later, this is the world we live in. But we all know after that day the world was never going to be the same again, and it's
Yeah.
back.
I don't know if you remember when we went back to school after the days off and everything like that. Do you remember Mr. Rivera?
Yeah, shop teacher.
Okay, so I had him for shop class. I don't know if you were with me in that class, but
I probably, dude,
uh,
we had a lot of shop classes together, man.
yeah,
I remember.
he was I remember. Okay, this is a little funny thing, but it's real. So when that happened, there was in the newspapers, right? They were saying, okay, the person behind this was Osama bin Laden, and they're on the hunt to find him, but he could have had surgery to change his look. Here are 3 different looks he could possibly look like now, and one without a beard, one with just a mustache, and one with a cut, and one of them looked like Mr. Rivera, our teacher, one of the actual looks. So the kids were always like knocking on him. They're like, "Hey, yo, Mr. Rivera, was it you? Was it you?" They're holding the paper and stuff. But then he was laughing and whatever, and he's saying like, "Guys, though, this is serious. Though, I want you guys to sit down and let me talk to you about something." And
Yeah.
he was telling us like, "I'm gonna let you guys know. First of all, who here in here is Muslim? So I raised my hand. A couple other kids raised their hands. He's like, "Okay, your world is going to change after today. I mean, after that day,
Right.
your world is never going to be the same. The world we knew back then, not just you guys, but everybody in this room and everybody else is going to have a different experience, and the world that we once knew is gone. You guys are going to lose so many of your freedoms and so many of your rights. I hope you realize that. And this sucks, And he was telling us like, it's gonna be bad. It's like, and for example, like if you're gonna go fly, whatever, nothing's gonna be easy anymore. And I'm just hope you guys are ready for that. And we
So,
all just shut up and like we were like, whoa,
so I don't think people realize our experience is extra unique. Let me explain why.
yeah,
We went to a trade
aviation,
school, a
yeah,
vocational school, aviation, which is where we're training, we're learning not just to graduate high school, but to be actual certified AMTs, a
yeah,
certified mechanic working on airplanes. What
and
just
yep,
happened? The situation was with
so
airplanes.
awkward, yeah,
Like, it was extra unique for our situation because we were in that industry that just got hit, you know what I mean, with the airplanes
right,
and 9/11. It was literally because our goal was to graduate. Well, we both didn't enter that field. That's another story.
Yeah.
We didn't do airplane. We took our own different routes. That's we can save that. This is a what do you call
Episode 1.
yeah, this
Like,
is a episode 1 pilot for a podcast deal that's gonna be coming, obviously. But yeah, our industry, what we're doing, it hit us differently. And after that day, imagine on the 3rd day of school, what you're studying to do, the whole industry just changed. Your whole life, like, because knowing what you see and what you know is like, dude, how am I even gonna get a job? Especially us being Muslims, you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be, who would want to hire us? Even we could be completely qualified, complete the smartest ones, passing all the exams in shop class. But you know what I mean? The industry, the aviation industry, made me like, you know what? I would just go with, Jonathan. You know what I mean? Like,
of course,
one of the American kids. You know what I mean? So that definitely did cross my mind, at least. And and I was lost, I guess, what I wanted to do. Being in a school that involves fixing airplanes and being in witnessing 9/11.
Yeah, I mean, I got my airframe power plant license. I don't know if you knew that. Yeah. I got about both of them. I studied my ass off, and I got the extra year, 5th year. I did all that, and
I'm proud of you.
but I didn't use it either. But I did it for my father and my uncle. Because I don't know if you know this, but my father got deported right after because of 9/11. They were serious on, I'm telling you, they were serious. My father had a green card. He wasn't yet a citizen. He was trying to work towards citizenship. My mother was already a citizen, thank God, knock on wood. Because they would have sent both my parents home. I would be in Egypt.
For what though?
Because he was Muslim, bro. They don't talk about
it. There has to be a dude. They gotta, you have, for no
bro,
reason.
I'm telling you right now, he was fine throughout the whole time. But once that happened, they got really critical. They're not taking any chances. You green card, whatever. Okay, you've been here illegally. We got to send you back. If you want to come back, whatever. So they did this to a lot of families who didn't have their paperwork yet. So they were very strict. And if you were Muslim, they would do a full background check 10 times and then send you back to your country, which happened to my dad. And that really sucked. Ever since then, he wasn't able to come back, and he passed away in Egypt.
No way.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, for almost 20 years. So I would have to. So my mom, made a plan every year. Would try to see him in the, in the summer and all that, which I'm very thankful for. We were able to see him every year. And then my uncle, he took the role of my father. So when I told him, he came, he was waiting outside the building when I was heading home, and he's like, how'd you do? On the airframe power plant thing. I was like, I got it, man. I passed. I got both of them. And he just cried and hugged me, because I was, I was the next in line to take care of the family, like my dad's gone. He's not gonna be able to, he was the breadwinner for my family,
And it happened out of nowhere. Like, you weren't
expecting.
Man. It was like a big shock, like boom, just disappeared. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty wild for us, man. It's like
that.
It's like hard. I mean, I really want people to know this. It's like,
so you really got affected, like on a first level, second level, third level.
Not just me, man, but a lot of other people had it even worse too.
I'm sorry, I don't know personal stories like because I know you, like we literally went to school together. But I don't know anybody. I may have heard, but I don't know anybody in my own circle that got affected where literally they deported them. You know what I mean? That's shocking to me.
Of course, yeah. I mean, it's pretty crazy, man. But it affected people in so many different ways. And then let's even, we don't even have to talk about the heightened racism and Islamophobia after that. That was pretty crazy too. Like, I had to pretend for some time that I wouldn't tell anybody that I was Muslim. Like, I would try to play it off like I'm Spanish or some shit.
Yeah, good dude. If I had a beard, my daddy yelled at me.
Oh my god!
Literally, he told me to shave. Like, I like to have like a little bit of beard.
Stubble, yeah.
You're hitting puberty. You're 16 years old. Having beard in 2003, a little bit was cool. The line.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I remember that.
Like,
I remember everyone was trying to have that. Yeah.
Yeah, like my dad didn't want nothing, and I was like, so I didn't really have a beard till could keep one, and it was probably the right thing to do. Just to might as well be safe. It's not the end of the world.
Of course, yeah, because you don't want, yeah, because there's some crazy people out there, man. My mom is still the same way with my brother because he likes having a big beard, and she keeps telling him like, she's still in that zone, like, please cut it off, you know, like at least have like a just Subway, just cut all that off, you know, and just like, you know,
Yeah.
so it's pretty it's pretty crazy, especially with our family. They were very, very scared, and you know, and they wanted. I remember my uncle too. He was like, you know, he had a Muslim name, right? So he was like, I'm just gonna name myself Michael. Just call me Michael from now on. You know, when I'm at work, I tell them Michael, Michael, because he doesn't want the added, you know, like stares and like, oh, he's, you know, he's Muslim, whatever. So he
Yeah.
would just give them some random name.
That's like Mohammed's call me Mo. I've heard that.
Thank you guys so much for watching. As you see, like we kind of went through and reminisced and kind of remembered a very important part of our lives that shaped the whole world for us and who we are today. And I hope you also you know, have gone through what it is and you've managed to persevere. 9/11 was a moment that we will all never forget, and it's something that we did not even expect to happen in our lifetime. But thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you. And Shay, if you want to, this way, Shay, if you want to tell them where they can find you and check out your content, please do.
Yeah. Sure. Shay. Instagram handle Shayway Vlogs. I'm on YouTube Shayway Vlogs and Instagram and TikTok ShaiWayVlogs. I'm very happy we did this because you set some topics and scenes and it brought up some old memories in my head that has been locked up, and you know it was like I know my brain just like remembered a lot of things and then put more dots together. So I think it was a cool thing that you know, to catch up after
Yeah.
23 talk about it. Yeah.